Hello, football fans. Ryan here. I'm being joined by Ryan. No time to talk. Let's get to the play.
Tulliver in front of Starr. He will go. He'll look, cut. And I'll tell you what, Columbus Academy has taken away that sweep.
All right, so this looks like the setup play, huh, Ryan? Just the
you were there at rehearsal. Yes, this is a setup play. It's pretty mundane, but yeah, we have to see this play. Notice number 7 and notice this shadow.
That's a play that, unfortunately.
Okay.
Now this is the play we'll be talking about, but we needed to see the previous play as well.
Actually lost about a foot.
I love this mascot too, the Shamrocks. That's cool.
And this will be, we got a
wide open streaking down the field. We got
he's a little wide open.
And he may go all the way for the touchdown.
just a little open on that. So very interesting play, Ryan. So the first things that pop into my brain are, was this player substituted legally? So if we look at the last play, he does appear to be in the huddle. So he's in the huddle, and then he splits himself wide out. He is beyond the numbers, but remember, since he was in the huddle prior to that, he doesn't need to reestablish himself out inside of the numbers. And so looking at that, it looks like this was a good deception with a caveat. And the caveat I would say is that the player must not have been making any sort of verbal attempt or otherwise attempt to insinuate that he was coming off or not participating in the play. The classic sort of this is the wrong ball play where someone sort of simulates that they are not participating is not allowed. But in the absence of that, I think I have a legal play, good deception. Ryan, your thoughts?
So this number 8 that catches the touchdown pass was inside the numbers legally, and I think all 11 players were inside the numbers, so we don't have to worry about that. And you called it. It's whether or not, and we don't see or hear it on the video, whether or not he had any contact with his bench. Right, if the coach said you're off or something, then we would have illegal participation. Now we don't get to see it, we don't get to hear it, unfortunately, but it will. I think that we can still take a lot from this play. And again, we don't want to look back. We're not trying to take this crew to task or embarrass them or ridicule or say they did anything wrong. We want to just talk about this play for the future and keep in mind that if the coach or anybody is involved in a substitution sort of deception there, we would have a foul. And this one sort of skirts the line because it was very well planned out and I would say very well executed. Again, we don't see it, so we're making some assumptions, but this will help us get into the rule book. So I'm going to go, speaking of the rule book, I'm going to go to the rule book. I got the new one here. So let's see. Illegal participation. This is 964. This is on page 76. It is illegal participation, and then we go down to D, to use a player, replace player, substitute coach, athletic trainer, or other attendant in a substitution or pretended substitution to deceive opponents at or immediately before the snap or free kick. Deceive the opponents, which is what they did. I'm kind of leaning that this was illegal participation.
Really?
Even though we can't see it because it was meant to deceive, even though I believe they pulled it off with a plum.
And I want to correct myself. It's absolutely illegal participation because clearly number 8 was participating in that play. Or that's the penalty we're discussing. But with that being said, I think that there's a fine line here between, the players, running to the sideline. They are allowed to line up off the goal line or off the line of scrimmage, however, many yards that they want. To me, as the wing, this is going to depend on, was there any sort of verbal deception that was going on? Hey, run off, run off, run off, run off. You're not supposed to be on. Get off the field, get off the field. If there's anything like that, I agree with you 100%. If there is not, and the coach is looking down at his shoes and the player is, lining up, as if they're going to participate, even if they're, far off that line of scrimmage. I think that's good deception and not a penalty. But I think that, with this video and not having that audio, it's tough for us to say. But I'm interested to hear, as always, what people say in the comments about this.
Yeah, I'm very interested to hear what our viewers say. So please let us know in the comment section below. Please join the discussion. We got the best commenters in the business. You make some really good points, Ryan. I think you're swaying my mind. You're swaying my opinion. This would be a very interesting conversation on the field if the two of us were involved in this game. We're also assuming that the player that we don't see that is off camera is also legal. He's a legal back. He's doing he's set. He or she is set and all that other good stuff. So we're assuming that just for the sake of talking about this play. And, I always find deception interesting because isn't that the whole point of,
Right.
we have a guard pull and we have a back go this way. We do play action to deceive the team, but in high school football, that's the type of deception they want. They don't want the pre-snap shenanigans like this. That some people who aren't familiar with the high school game may like, what do you mean you can't do that? And you mentioned the fake ball, like, oh, this isn't our ball. You generally see that at the youth level. I hate that play.
Hate it. I'm with you 100%. I think
it's bad. And I think generally as officials, we don't like this type of deception stuff. We think it's cheap and doesn't, it doesn't go against the spirit of what high school football should be about. If there's any play though that we want to make legal or say, okay, this was it. This was close because they did such a great job. The player went down, came back. They had they did. It sounds like they knew the rules, or it feels like they knew the rules. And they coached the players up well. And I would also imagine they told the crew beforehand, because officials usually ask the head coach before the game when they have a conference, hey, do you run any unusual plays? And oftentimes the coach will say, yeah, we're going to try this or we're going to try that. And they never do because they get blown out or something. But I'm sure I'd be very curious if that coach told that crew what he was trying to do.
Yeah, and I could go on about that fake ball play for a long time, Ryan, because I agree with you. It's basically trying to teach, whether that's in the youth or high school level, hey, you should hit a player if there's an administrative stoppage, because that's what the offense is sort of alleging, that no, we're legally, running a play and thus we should be able to score a touchdown. Well, that means anytime that there's an administrative stoppage, are we trying to tell youth football players or high school football players, hey, be weary and maybe hit somebody during an administrative stoppage? Absolutely not. It's a play that's against the spirit of the game. It's a play that really, when we think about it, is very dangerous for all the players involved. So I don't think that should have any place in high school football, and I'm glad that it has been very clearly that it is illegal. With that being said, I think that some of my concerns about, this was not a situation where the player could have been lit up. The player was far off the line of scrimmage. Had the defensive noticed it, they would have had plenty of time to, react and line up for their. So I think it's a little different, but I share your, concerns with the deception that sort of goes too far in that direction to something unfair.
So I'm throwing the flag. I'm killing dreams. I'm squashing hopes. Ryan likes to play. He's right. Am I putting words in your mouth?
No, I as so long as there was nothing verbal or otherwise deceptive that we didn't see. Granted, we didn't see it, but if there was just that player just running out and lining up 8 yards behind, it seems like legal deception to me. I apologize.
We want to hear from you, so please put your comments in the comment section below. Tell us what you think. I guarantee they're going to agree with Ryan. Both Ryans. But let us know. Are you flagging this? Are you not flagging this?
I've noticed in the comments, Ryan, a lot of the times they lean towards no foul, and so I think you're right that the comments might lean that way as well.
But again, if there's any play that we're not going to throw a flag, it was this one. And kudos to the kids for executing it very well as in your regard, they executed well. In my regard, they executed it almost perfectly. But we're really interested to hear what you have to say. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Officials Timeout. Before we go, we're going to leave you with the fifth down.